Hello, in this video you will be factoring using the difference of squares method. Whenever you encounter a problem where they are asking you to factor using the difference of squares method, you have to look at 4 steps. If all the 4 steps are true, then you are able to factor this using the difference of squares. Let's start with the problem on the top, and let's start with step number 1. Step number 1, are there 2 terms? Let's see, there is the x squared and there is the 4. There are 2 terms. The answer for this one is true. If at one point there is an answer of false, then we stop there and we are unable to solve this problem using the difference of squares. Step 2, is there a subtraction involved? Well, we have a subtraction in the middle. That means that this one is also true. Let's say we had this problem. Looks very similar, but there is an addition in there. So this is not a subtraction. If that's the case, we are not able to factor this using the difference of squares. Going back to the problem, we have third step. Is the first term a perfect square? What is a perfect square? A perfect square is a number that you can obtain by multiplying a certain number by itself. For example, is there any way to get 25? You have to multiply 5 times 5. If these two numbers are the same, 5 and 5, that means 25 is a perfect square. Let's say 36. That would be 6 times 6, that would be a perfect square. What about 30? 5 times 6 is 30. However, because these two numbers are different, this is not a perfect square. So let's go back to our first term being x squared. Is there any way that we can get x squared by multiplying a number times itself? The answer is yes. If we multiply x times x, we would be getting x squared. So multiplying those two together would give you x squared. Let's move on to the next step. 4. Is the second term a perfect square? Is there a number that I can multiply times itself and get 4? What about 2 times 2? If I multiply 2 and 2, that gives me 4. It means that we have a check mark for both step number 3, and step number 4. We're almost done with the factoring. We have to put parentheses. We have 2 factors, and we have to put a plus on one, a negative on the other one, and we are done. Let's look at the second problem. And let's start with the questions. I will put the questions right here. Question 1, 2, 3, and 4. And of course, I refer to those 4 questions. Okay, question number 1. Are there 2 terms? We have 4x squared and negative 9. This one is true. Is there a subtraction in the middle? We have a minus. This one is also true. Number 3, is the first term a perfect square? That means I need to find a number that when I multiply it by itself, I get 4. Well, what if I multiply 2 times 2? 2 times 2 gives me 4. I also need to do the same thing for the x squared. Is there anywhere that I can get x squared by multiplying a number times itself? Well, yes, x times x. So the green ones, 2 times 2 give me the 4, and the purple ones, x times x, give me the x squared. We also have a check mark for step number 3. Let's check step number 4. Is there a number that I can multiply times itself and get 9? What about 3 times 3? Those give me 9, means I also have a check mark for this one, and I will be putting a plus in the first one, a negative on the second one, and I would be done.